What is happening in Benue and in Plateau State is very, very pathetic, concerning the fact that you have people, the original owners and the settlers of their community, who are now being chased away by the Fulani herdsmen. Well, you can call them Fulani herdsmen, you can call them the regular herdsmen, but provided they are moving their cattle from one region to another. And we still continue to experience killings in Nigeria, experience killings in Benue, experience huge killings in Plateau. And that is the reason that we feel that this is very much unsustainable to continue to move cattle from one region to another. Talking about food insecurity as a result of this crisis, this is what we all know, that, of course, in the case of Benue used to be the food basket of the nation, and today you are seeing a decline nature of life in Benue. And you might think that this is happening in Benue and it's not affecting you in other parts of the country, whether you're in the southern or in the eastern part of this country. What is happening in Benue is indeed affecting every part of this country. And not just in Benue, in other parts of this country where farmers can no longer farm, farmers cannot go to farm, and the bushes have already been occupied and taken over by the herdsmen. And this is the reason why we talk about the political will on the part of the government. You have a situation where you have a law and there are no procedures, there are no mechanism, there are no structure to enforce your law. For instance, a state such as Bayelsa, Delta State, and many other states, including the Edo State, had already enacted the anti-grazing law. But these laws are not being effective. Their practicalization is zero in Nigeria. One of the ways the federal government can attend to this issue is simply very simple as ABC. We have said that one of the ways the federal government must adopt is to restrict the movement of cattle in Nigeria. Complete restriction of cattle in Nigeria. This is one way to go, and not just that, thereafter they must set up task force by the local community to see that this restriction is fully enforced to the letter. Ranching, in my opinion, we have passed through that stage of ranching, because by providing provision for ranching, you are trying to designate an area, thereby giving some level of consensus to the herdsmen. I do not think that the herdsmen really needs some level of consensus in terms of providing special assessment for them, because if you cannot provide special attention to the farmers, so why would you provide special attention? So I think the farmers are businessmen and women. The herders, or those who are into cattle business, they are also businessmen and women. So they should be able to provide the mechanism or access to land whereby they can be able to train or breed their cattle. This issue has been on for quite a long time. So I do not think that there is a need to discuss about the issue of who should leave a particular community for another. The communities belongs to the owners of the community, which are the farmers really. So when you have herders who come in by way of criminal trespass, and you are bringing up the issue of dialogue or trying to have a consensus discussion about how it should be, a trespasser is a trespasser. A owner of a farmland is a owner of a farmland. Who owns the farmland? The owners of the farmland. The farmers are the owners of the farmland. So the herders are the trespassers. There is no law that provides that protects a trespasser, particularly a criminal trespasser, or in any form that has to do with violation of people's rights. There is no law, there is no provision that provides special needs for them or try to make them more relevant to the real victims in this situation. What the government should begin to do, first, you make an area ungoverned area when you fail to provide the necessary facilities for such an area. Every area in this country belongs to a local government, whether it is desert area or a living area. They all belong to a certain segment in this country. So what the government should begin to do in terms of providing security for such area is first to identify the level of crime perpetrated and also to equip or train the local communities. Provide security in those areas that share very close borders to the desert areas or governed area, as the case may be. With this, you should be able to provide and provide security precisely. Police security, the military security in these areas, and charge them to take responsibility for the protection of lives and property. One of those things we are doing is advocacy, enlightenment, just like we are doing on a daily basis here from LJE, and also creating social rehabilitation program for Nigerians to understand what they should do. Now, and we will talk about advocacy, but advocacy in this regard, as regard Operation Free the Bush, simply means that we need to create this social consciousness among the people to know that what is wrong, what is right. We cannot continue to sit back and allow farmers being displaced out of their farms, allow communities being displaced out of their communities, and allow strangers to take over an environment which originally does not belong to them. So what we are doing is to continue to enlighten the Nigerian public, create consciousness among the people that they should understand that this fight is not just for the people, for the victims, but it is a fight, because when you have a situation where people can no longer go to farm, it portrays danger across board. So it has nothing to do whether you are a Fulani man or whether you are an Igbo man or a Yoruba man. The organization will continue to champion this cause and create social awareness for Nigerians so that they will begin to create this issue or resonate this issue so that the right authority, those who are in the authority, will still believe they have the ability to listen to the plight of Nigerians and take the right decisions by restricting the movement of cattle in Nigeria in entirety, and let those who are in cattle business begin to do this business the way it is done internationally, by having opportunity to purchase their land, have their cattle in certain areas, provide food for them, provide mechanism and provide water. Then when it is time to sell your cattle, then you go out there, sell your cattle, you maximize your profit, then you will have peace. The farmers will have peace of mind, the herders will have peace of mind, and other persons doing business in Nigeria should be able to have peace of mind in doing business, not to allow your cattle to move or graze through the farmlands of other innocent persons. My advice to President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is to immediately declare by policy restriction of movement of cattle. You don't even need legislation to do that. All you need to do, you must protect, as the president of the country, you have a responsibility to protect the lives and properties of Nigerian citizens. You must not allow people who are doing their own business to criminally trespass on the right of other persons, particularly the farmers in this case, thereby causing chaos, causing insecurity, causing food insecurity in this country. So my advice to President Ahmed Tinubu is to immediately, by policy, by announcement, or whichever means, declare restriction of movement of cattle in Nigeria. My message for the affected community who feel abandoned by the government is, first, they should take courage, they should be persistent, they should not lose faith. If they have a way of retreating, they should retreat, but they must never lose their community. They must come back to take a charge of their community. They should follow the procedure of law, they should work with the law enforcement agencies, and they should find a way to return back to the community. And the government or the federation, the security department of this country must begin to provide security to protect lives and property in the affected community. What I would advise our listeners is to continue to join in this campaign. Those that are on social media, they should begin to hashtag free the bush, hashtag free Nigeria, hashtag free Nigerian bush, hashtag LJE Nigeria. They should begin to take this to the highest level. They should begin to consult among their family and friends, asking them these relevant questions, because oftentimes we have had opportunity of interacting, particularly those of our brothers in the north. And when you mention some of them who are also in this business of cattle, because we must begin to realize that where your rights end, that is where the right of another person begin. We believe that the only solution to this issue is to restrict the movement of cattle. So they must begin to join us in this campaign to say there must be restriction of cattle in this country. Until we begin to see that the government begin to take the right policies to restrict the movement of cattle in this country, it will be difficult to have peace in this country. It will be difficult to have food available in this country when these guys begin to move around and roam around in our bushes, killing our farmers, destroying their crops, displacing them from their community.